2024 is when I received a call from one of my friends in US that he has been fired from his job. Now this person spent about 20 years with the company, building this company, and one fine day the company asked him to leave. He had 2 school-going children. There was a huge financial burden on him. He went into a state of depression. And because his life was his job and back home, he didn't know what to do. And finally, he had a cardiac arrest, but finally he was able to survive. But what I'm trying to say is, it just takes 1 minute for a company to ask you to leave, because nobody in this world is indispensable. The second example which I want to quote is from my father. Now, typically in a private firm, the retirement age is about 58. So my father decided to take an early retirement at the age of 56. And I still remember the last day when he said that, now I don't have a designation, I don't have a job, so tomorrow I will be unimportant. Nobody will start respecting. So we are used to this kind of thinking because we try to define our life with the job which we associate. Having a job definitely is a fantastic thing, but in order to live a more fulfilling life, you also need to introspect. What if all this goes away? What is the impact which I made? Do I still survive? So today I'm going to talk about this concept of portfolio life, where in order to be happy in life, job is only one aspect, but unfortunately, we are so used to thinking like this that this is a cause for serious concern. The recent Gallup 2024 study is just out. It looks at how the workplace looks at. 73% of people today are disengaged in work. 37% of people are stressed at work. 35% have anger issues. 52% are looking for the next job. So if you are looking at this kind of a scenario, isn't it important that we look at other aspects of a life, maybe something you love doing, and that can be a potential stream of revenue for you, and as long as it doesn't clash with your primary job. The example is, when you invest in a stock market, you don't put your money in a single stock, because if something goes down, you have something to look upon. Now, if you look at it, this lady, Christina Wallace, an entrepreneur and teaches at Harvard Business School, she was the one who coined the term portfolio life, so I will give the due credit to her. So COVID was an example where people's mental health took a different turn. So what is the fallout? People are looking at less stressful jobs. People are looking at lesser hours of work. People are looking at a job beyond 9 to 5, having other streams of revenue. The other gentleman, Ravi Venkatesan, I was very fortunate to work with him for a brief period of time. He was the managing director of Tata Cummins, and at that time, I was with Tata Motors, and we are setting up the joint venture with him. So, and then he went on to lead Microsoft in India, and at the age of 49, he decided that he will not take up a full-time job. So he joined the board of Infosys. He wrote a few books. He's doing some kind of a gig kind of jobs. He advises companies, but he doesn't go with a full-time job. While full-time job is fine, but you also need to have a backup option, because as I was mentioning, it takes 1 second for a company to let you go, because I know the age of lifetime employment is gone, because this year alone, more than 1 lakh tech jobs have been lost, and most of them are above 40, 45. And the way the industry works is, people over 40, 45 are paid a certain sum of salary, and the way the companies look at it, with the same amount of money, I can hire 2-3 people who are fresh out of college. While there's a price to experience, but not every company is going to value it. So it's very important that we always look at other avenues, something we can monetize, something we may not be, but at the end of the day, we all want to be happy. What is the use of a life where we have tons of money, but we have lost our health. So that is very, very important. Now, if you look at it, a typical example, most of the conglomerates, for example, the Tata Group. So I'm taking the name of Tata because that was my first company with Tata Motors, and they have multiple lines of business. So when one line of business is down, there are other businesses which may not be doing that badly. And Tatas have a culture that even if the business is not doing well, for them, the society is more important. So Tata Steel was making huge losses, but Tata Steel still exists, doing extremely well. They acquired companies in Europe because they were troubled company. So this is an example of a company, and typically that's how most of the conglomerates work. So the portfolio life which I am talking about is not something new. Most of the companies were already following it. Now, this is a brief from my life, what I wanted to say. Of course, I have a full-time job. I look after supply chain and sustainability at IBM. But having said that, there is something beyond job, because not everybody is lucky to have a job which somebody loves. But money is important for us, and that's why we need to have that stream going. The second thing, if you look at it, ISCEA, it's an educational institute, and why did I take it over? My dear friend Nikhil used to run it. 2019, he suffered a cardiac arrest. He died. He had a daughter, he had a wife to be taken care of. So at that time, I decided, we three of us, that let's support it. So whatever money we get out of it, the money goes to the family. I think maybe for our friendship, this is a very small price which we are paying. This is nothing. But if you look at it, this actually keeps me going. The third example, again, Care School. I've been staying in Hyderabad for the last 18 years. Of course, I travel a lot. Now, this is a school based in Old City, and why I'm talking about it, 2004, that part of the city had serious crime rates. The children were doing petty crimes. So we thought that what do we do about it? There were families which were disoriented, there was domestic violence, there was child abuse, there was women abuse. So what we decided to start a school, and as I said, there are still some good people left in this world. So the rich people in the community donated the money, we built a school, we started sending students to that school. We did not have teachers, so three of us, again, we were teaching there. And today, if you look at it, there are 4 girls which have graduated from that school and are doctors. There are 5 girls who have come out of that school and have come back as teachers. It has been made a model school by the Telangana government, and the best part is there are more women there. Now, the biggest challenge which we had was behavioral. Now, these children see a lot of domestic violence at home. So I saw the guys hitting the girls, and when we asked them, why are you doing this? They said, this is normal. So we really had to explain to them why this is not normal. Today, this school doesn't need me. It is on an autopilot mode. They have set processes, they run it on. We have Teach for India helping us. So this is a classic example of, again, no amount of money, no amount of designation can actually give you that, and this is what keeps somebody going. The other example I wanted to give is about Akarasha Hospital, again a hospital based in Hyderabad. Now, if you look at it, any kind of physical deformity, it is very, very dangerous, because first of all, it has a confidence, it lowers your confidence, and the thing is, these kids, they are bullied at school. So we thought that let's do something about it. There is this doctor called Dr. Bharat Swain, who left his fledgling practice in US, came back. We did not have any land, but as I said, people are always generous. Somebody donated us a 2-acre land. We built a hospital. Today surgeries are done for free. We never ran out of money. But once these kids are treated, once they come back, they start looking at the doctors as God, and rightly said. And this is the kind of impact what we said the world needs today. IIM Kozhikode, again, I talk about it because I went to a B school, which was a startup B school. We were from the 5th batch. We did not have a campus. It is located in Kozhikode, very difficult to reach. There were issues around language, there were issues around food, but we thought that we will build it together. We started putting all across the mess together, we looked at placements. It has been a long process, and today if I look at it, I am a proud student, proud alumnus, proud member of Board of Governors, and today it has an IRF ranking 3 because there are certain things we did really well. Now 2014, it had 56% girls. We did not change the criteria. We only started looking at the class 10th and the 12th marks also. Now we are talking about diversity. We spoke about it 10 years ago. We started a course on liberal studies. Now in management, in industry, we think everything is exact science. It's not. We neglect arts, we neglect liberal studies. But when we floated the management course on liberal studies, the industry actually supported us. And today, if you look at it, it is one of the best running courses in the country. Third aspect, if I look at a PhD education, people think it's an academic. But PhD is meant to solve the world's problem. So we started something called a PhD in practice track, where industry professionals come to academia with their problems, they solve it, take it back to the industry. So these are some of the 3-4 things which we really did well, and that is again, this school is still evolving, globalizing Indian thought, and that's again, no amount of money, no amount of my job can give me this. The other aspect again, I went to, to Everest base camp. Now I am talking about it, it was a tough trek. The highest point was minus 26 degrees centigrade, but it changed my life completely. Looking at the Sherpa community, they have nothing, but the kind of happiness where I saw, that was the day I stopped chasing material things. While it's good to have money, it's good to have things, but as human beings, you don't need so much to be really happy. The other is again, as I said, I look at a life beyond my job. I do a lot of these talks across the country. I've been recipient of multiple awards, but all in all, some of them I have benefited monetarily, some of them not. But at the end of the day, it's a job well done, which actually helps me in all this. Now, this is what I wanted to talk about today. Today everything is going as a service. We have software as a service, we have warehouse as a service. Why? Because we only pay for the amount of things which we are using. Because as human beings, we are hoarding too much. Today, to support 1 Earth, we are consuming 1.8 Earths. That means we have excess of things which we are hoarding, we are not using, we just want to possess. Now, this is a very disturbing time. There are 68 war zones in the world today. Nobody is really happy in this world. And while it's important that we only take what is needed, because animals only hunt when they are hungry, not like human beings. So this is the model which is going to save us. In fact, the clothes which we buy, we are slowly going into wood. Unfortunately, we have also started looking at relationships as a service. We are only in a relationship when it is beneficial for us, but that is really harming it. While we cannot get every 100% from a single person, that's why we have friends, we have relatives, but it's very, very important for us not to confuse relationship with these kind of things. Now let's look at it. We spoke about our portfolio life, we spoke about how we want to lead a life which is beyond our 9 to 6 job. If you look at today the climate, it's under serious trouble. We have removed 1/3 of the forest today. 75% of the Earth's layer has been damaged by human beings. The coral reefs, they are down by 50%. We see floods. This year we had record 50-degree plus temperature all over the country. So the fact that we feel as human beings, we can dominate nature, that's not going to work. Remember the balance, remember the portfolio. We have to be in agreement with nature. If we try to do away with nature, if you think that just because we are the species which has the highest IQs, nature has its own way of hitting back, and you are still seeing the scenes around. there is everywhere, there is some kind of catastrophe. There is floods in Wayanad, the Himalayas are really breaking down, there is conflict zone, everybody is trying to get into a war. Is this the world which we really thought about as a portfolio? We are talking about a 1.5 degree temperature cap, right? Why this 1.5 degree? Typically, if you look at it, whatever we do to the earth, it has the capacity to regenerate. But above 1.5 degree, some of the changes will be irreversible. That's why scientists are talking about it. While it's good to move away from petrol and diesel, but maybe more cars is not the solution. Because typically in other parts of the world, people use a lot of public services. In UK alone, I'm not talking about UK because they have documented it. They have hoarded clothes, which is enough for 6 generations. Is this the kind of clothes do we need? I remember in the 1980s, when we had limited resources, we used to save every one bit of cloth. It was reused, right? We used to use it for cleaning our windows, cleaning our houses. But today, if you look at it, it's a use and throw. The ink pens, they are gone. Similarly, we always drank water from the tap. Today, we have bottled water, plastic. It's all harming the society, the world at large. It's important that we take a pause. Yes, we have been running, but some things have to be changed. If still GDP is still the measure of success, whatever I talk here doesn't make sense. We have to look at a different kind. At the end of the day, we should be happy. Yes, money is important. We should have enough because we all want a decent living. But it's high time we take a pause, we rethink, because the earth doesn't need us. We need the earth for a living, because we don't want to be known in history that there used to be a species called human beings which existed. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a privilege and honor for me to be here. Thank you so much.